Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. This is the third lecture of the series how to become a web developer or coder. And in this lecture we are going to study CSS. So in this lecture, let me show you what we are going to learn is about CSS, the CSS syntax, some of the commonly used CSS properties, and couple of examples with simple exercise. Uh, a CSS is cascading style sheet. As the name says, it is used to bring styling to HTML. So all the colors, all the placements, all the uh, all the things happening in CSS or on HTML page, they are done through CSS. So think of CSS, think of HTML as raw material for your home. After CSS is applied, that raw material becomes a beautiful home or a building or whatever you want it to be. So CSS is kind of bringing color to your HTML document and making it look live. So CSS is used in three ways: inline, in-page, and external. Inline is used for a single HTML tag or element inside the style attribute, as you can see over here. So it's it's usable just for only that tag in which the style attribute is defined. So there is no extendability or no reusability for that uh, kind of CSS. Second is in-page CSS. In-page CSS comes from the head tag. So inside head tag, as you can see right here, inside head tag you can see there is background color, there is TD, this style tag. So that's how we define in-page CSS. And then there is external CSS. Let me show you. So uh, in external CSS we create a new file with CSS extension just like this, and then we link it inside our HTML inside the head tag. Usually using this syntax for HTML: link relation equal to style sheet. href is the URL of the style sheet. So if you look in here, this is the way that we define external CSS is in the same directory, so we are just using the external css.css, and that's how we define it. Okay, so next is commonly used CSS properties. So CSS properties are which are commonly used are display block, inline block, and none, width and height. So display block means that uh, it's gonna be displayed as square or rectangle, and there won't be any overlapping of any kind. Inline means that there will be wrapping around the item, so the item can be wrapped around. It can be of different shapes, and text will wrap around that item. Inline block means that it's going to be in the middle or in the center of the text, and text will be blocked around it. And none is used to hide the element. So if you put display none, it will hide the element from there. Width and height, it's measured in pixels, percentage. Auto gets inherits the width and height from the parent element. Em is just a line height. So whatever line height you have defined uh, inside your HTML, that's how you do it. Em is the line height, and you can use it for width and height as well. Margin and padding, there are four ways. There are four places where you define margin and padding: top, right, bottom, left. Margin is outside the element or outside the tag, while padding is inside the tag. So if you define a table cell and define margin for the table cell, that margin will go outside. So for example, if you have a table cell with 100 pixels width and 100 pixels height, and you define a margin, uh, 10 10 pixels margin on top, right, bottom, and left, so that 10 pixels will go outside the 100 pixels height and width. So it will effectively become 120 pixels height and 120 pixels width. While if you define padding will go inside, so you will have 80 pixels left out of those 100 pixels of height and width to work with. Border is just the border of the element, whatever border you want to define. You can define width of the border, style of the border, and color of the border. Float defines the that where the element will float on the page. It goes also with the position attribute or property of CSS, and it also affects it. So float left will move the element towards the left, towards float right moves towards the right, and float none means it's gonna clear all the floats. Color is just the color of the text of the element or text that you have written. You can define the color by name: red, blue, green, or hex value, which starts with a pound, and or RGB value. You have three RGB values that you can define from 0 to 255. So 255, 255, 255, three values combination will be white, and 000 combination will be black. All other colors lie in between those uh, three values of red, green, and blue. Background can be color, or it can be image, and then you can define the position of the background and also the repeat. If you want to repeat the background, let's say if it's a sequential background, you can actually repeat that background to fit your whole page or whole element or whole tag. Font has style, uh, Arial, Calibri, so those are the styles. Variant are Arial Black, or some other Calibri MS will be variant. Wet defines how thick the thickness of the font. So wet can be heavy or light. uh, if it's heavy, it's gonna be bold. And then size of the font, you can do 2 pixels, 1 pixels, or add pixels, or add em, or even the percentage. Then line height, and then font family. All of these are used to define the font of the text. Clearing float. So sometimes floats are kind of messy and tricky to work with, and sometimes you need to clear them. So these are the three ways you can clear the uh, float. um, so let's show you all three types of associations um, for as you remember my last page. You remember my examples.html. This page, we define color and everything inside this page, but let's do it with CSS. So I have inline CSS, which says that h1 with the background color red and color white. So let's see. Let's open in the Explorer, CSS example, and just render it. Open it through Chrome. So you can see, as you can see, there is red background for my h1 heading, and my color is white. So that's what I have done over here. Background color and white. Then you can see for all the TDs inside my page. So we can either use class, or we can use ID, or we can use these tags to do the or or to define the CSS. Uh, so like background color is green, and color of the text will be white. So if we go down here and look at our table, TD, background is green and front is white. That's how we do it with in-page CSS. And third is external CSS, where for the order list we have background black and text color is white. So if we look here, our ordered list, background is black and the text is white. So that's how we do it. Okay, so this was a simple exercise in CSS association. This is a really good reference for CSS properties that you can go and look over. CSS ref, we allow it, and here you can see it has a lot of properties in here that are defined and show what can be done through CSS and how to do all the stuff that we just talked about. Um, so homework assignment will be create a responsive profile page. So you need to create a page which can shrink or expand with the page width, external CSS, create a profile baseball card, and baseball card will be some small card showing all of your properties and all of your interests, and that's kind of stuff. Use inline CSS to do all the stuff, then create contact page, use in-page CSS, uh, and use maybe external CSS as well. So you are gonna create two pages with CSS: profile page and contact page, and one baseball card. If you have any questions, shoot me at dev-questions at farjadhabib.com. GitHub repository for your lecture is this, and I'll also be uploading the exercises. Next lecture we will be discussing Bootstrap. uh, Thank you for watching the video, and do subscribe to my channel as I'll be uploading more videos in future. Thank you very much.